Hi, I'm Quincy, and today I am playing Planetary Annihilation. This is a real-time strategy game, an RTS, from a couple of years ago. It's often to be found in bundles and various little additions to it expansions, so it seems to be kept alive. And I'm going to have to say firstly that this is actually the third attempt I have at recording it, so hopefully this is third time lucky and people get to hear this. The problem being that it does not seem to like my screen recording program, particularly to do with sound and things like that. Okay, so let's just get going. Firstly, the thing that makes this different to other, and I've had to jump straight into playing a game, this is the single player campaign. The thing that makes it different is you're sort of fighting over the entire planet, and this is the planet, and you can see it slowly moves around the sun. And indeed, as it goes round the sun, the lighting changes and so on and so forth. And in sometimes there's actually, this looks like some kind of lava planet. I haven't fought on a lava planet before. And you choose where you're going to start. I'm going to start there. Oh, it's going to start for me anyway because I took too long. So it's an RTS, and so there's a standard thing. You have your commander, which is your starting unit, as it were. And then you can you have various resources, metal and energy, the two resources, and then you have to basically defeat your opposing commander, who is somewhere on this planet. I'm just going to build some metal factories. Okay, I'm just building up the basic stuff to start things. I'll explain a bit more what I'm doing in a second. Yeah, we're not there. Okay, so the commander is what sort of wins. It's your king, essentially. And what happens is, we'll just keep going, building things up. What happens is, if your commander gets destroyed, that's the end of the game. And if you defeat your opposing commander, then you win the game. So that's basically what it comes down to. Although sometimes I've noticed there are multiple commanders that you have to defeat. And it's like a standard RTS. You build up a sort of engine, a factory, an engine of destruction, as it were. So you build up things to gather resources. In this case, you can see here these things here are my metal collectors. And then soon I'm going to start building up energy to build up my energy and my metal. And then you build factories, and the factories build units, and you can see them there. You can zoom in quite nicely. It's I quite like the art style. I'm not sure, it's almost cartoony, I guess, but not quite. Oh, and my factory is complete. So it's one of those, and then lots and lots of these. So far, when I've played, the tactics always seem to be the same, and that is quickly build up a mass of forces and then charge your opponent. That's worked every time, and generally that seems to take on the order of about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to do that on most of these. And that's where one of the beauty of this game comes in, is that's when I'm playing on a single planet, but you can end up playing on multiple planets. And that's also one of the problems with this game, is that there's a huge mass of options. So you start off, you see here I'm building, I've got my bot factory. These are the things I can build. You've got your bot factory, your air factory, and your advanced air factory, and your bot factory, and your vehicle factory, and there's also naval, because on some planets there's naval stuff. But you can also build up into orbit, and then you can go across to other planets, and you can go eventually build up. Sometimes over here there's big lasers that can shoot from one planet to another, or there's our teleporters that allow you to transport from one teleporter to another. So the idea is you get your teleporter on the other planet and you send across your troops, or you or better yet, you send across something that can start making one of these factories, and then you start let's just assist. Have I clicked the right one? No. Okay, there we go. Or you start building up on their home planet. or you can even build like a giant rocket that starts moving it around. And when that happens, the game becomes much longer. So normally when of these single planet battles, and you can't seem to speed up time, I haven't really found that, more about that in a second, they take about 10 to 15 minutes, but these multi-planet battles, I played one yesterday, and that took me 2 hours. So there's a huge difference in the amount of times these things can take. One of the other nice things is if you zoom out a little bit, you get your unit markers, and then you can move them around. And these actually work quite nicely. You see down in the bottom left, the units appear, and you can select one type individually if you want just one type. There we go. More of those. And we get we've got more of those coming. We'll move our planes up here. Oh, except for this one, this little scout. I'll move it over. So the controls are quite nice. You can move around the way that you sort of fly around these planets. You zoom out really easily. Oh, there's the bad guys.
Enemy commander detected.
Oh, and it's dead. But now I know where they are. Now it's just a matter of time. So we'll move all these down here, except for this one. He's gotten in the wrong spot. I'll move them over there. And you can see you can zoom out all the way to see, and you can see the orbit around. And when you're flicking between planets, if there's more than one planet, it will show up here, and you can flick between them very quickly. It's very smooth, very well done. You can zoom in quite close and see your units. And obviously these three are in the wrong space, so we'll move them over there. And it's just very well made. And when they start fighting, it all works very nicely. And we want lots of gunships. I have found it very useful. As I said, the basic tactics seem to be the same. Just build up massive force, and then just basically run straight into your opponent. It's very common, I suppose, tactic. And you can also there's various these are all the sort of commands they can do: move, attack, whatever. And I'm going to assist, so that's going to mean that my main guy is assisting this, so these planes will come out quicker. And as I said earlier, some of these longer games, and all these various options, there's not much in the way of tutorial or instructions on how to play this game, and as a result, I still don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I've been playing for over 10 hours now, and I don't really know what I'm doing other than building up big forces and flying them off and charging the enemy. And I mean, for instance, when I was on the multi-planet one, I had to keep pausing the game to go and look at YouTube videos, work out things like, how do I get my units from one planet to another planet? How do I use a teleporter? Things like that. It's not really clear. There seems to be this assumption in this game that you already know how to play. You're already a particularly experienced player of RTS games. So if you are a particularly experienced player of RTS games, this may all be immensely obvious to you, but it wasn't to me. It most definitely was not to me. And I think we're building up quite a strong force here, and we'll probably be ready to go and attack those enemies, or try and get that enemy commander pretty soon. So yeah, it's very much a case of, and it feels like this is a game that's been made for people who are greatly experienced with RTSs and want to really push themselves, because there's so many options. As I said, you could be naval warfare on water, you could be duking it out in orbit, or with bots or vehicles. There's so many options. And whereas me, who's really, isn't that nice? Look at that dawn on the planet. It's a very pretty game. I've got to give it that. It's a very pretty game. The way these planets work and scroll around is very nice. But I do feel completely overwhelmed by this game. It's just way too complex for me. And, or maybe it's not, but it's just not teaching me, because I don't really know what I'm doing. And so that's causing me to be a bit confused. That's quite definitely a possibility. And there's other things that make me think that it may be for more the advanced RTS crowd, in that there's all these tools, where's it, like the social bar, all these tools for playing online or streaming your games out on Twitch or watching old games. Great ideas, but not things I'm going to do. I just want to play the game and see how it goes. That's taking a bit of time to move that over there. Okay, so I think we're at the point now where we might be able to start looking at launching an attack, and we'll show how it goes. So what I'll do is I'll send. We've got to find where they are again. They're over there. First, I'll send my bots because they're slower. So my bots will march over, and we'll give them an attack command into this area. So just attack whatever the enemy is around here. And we'll let them get a little bit of the way. It's actually, the way these things are selected are quite nicely there, so I can select all their units. And as the bots come into view over the horizon, here they come, I will send the planes. They arrive at roughly the same time. And we'll zoom in so you can see them coming over the horizon. Like that. It's definitely a pretty game. Various levels of mayhem occurring there. And you can zoom out and see a bit more clearly what's going on. There's their enemy commander there, taking a bit of a battering. In fact, I may actually just already win it. Well, that was quick. That was super quick. Not showing you much of this game, am I? Let me assure you, there's tons of other options, and you do tend to get a bit lost. I at least tend to get a bit lost. And then here come my bots. You can see them in the background, firing onto the wreckage that is left. Not much there. So yeah, an RTS, quite well made, but perhaps a little too much, too busy. They've thrown in way too much, way too many options, and you do end up drowning. So if they perhaps focused a bit more on the sort of planet-to-planet battles, then I think that might have been a more focused game. So now you can explore and discover new technologies. Although I can't actually use any because all my data banks are full. Although, what's this? Complete orbital tech. Yeah, I don't really want to delete any of those. So I'll just dismiss it and move on. And then you can keep going on to the next one and so on and so forth as you go through it. So why don't we save and exit to the main menu. You can see there's a single player, you can play skirmishes or the campaign, which is what I'm doing. Various multiplayer, you can replay old ones. There's also lots of microtransactions for some reason. Oh, well, there's all these, this is sort of upgrade. But you can buy, as far as I can tell, these do nothing other than change the appearance. So, fair enough if people want to spend money on them. Or badges, which I don't really understand. So there's lots of things there, but it does seem to be more for someone who likes their games super complex and quite competitive. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try playing online. The examples I've seen when playing it is it's going to get a little too quick with the other people. I'm not fast enough, and I don't really know how to play. It's basically a common refrain when playing this game, I think. So that's really it. Hopefully this one actually records, and you can see this. A well-polished game that just does too much, needs to perhaps be a bit more focused. It has some great ideas in it, looks really pretty. I love the idea of the planets and jumping from one planet to another planet, which I haven't seen, because that game would take way too long to play. I mean, that's like 2 hours. I played the last multi-planet game I played, took 2 hours to do. Various options. But not for me. I think assuming this is recorded successfully, this will be the last time I play this game, because interesting, but I don't feel like I'm getting better at this game. There's lots of options, but I don't really know what to do with them. Normally just build up a big blob of troops like you saw then and throw it in. I mean, that's 10 hours into the single player campaign, and that same tactic just keeps working over and over again. Maybe it's supposed to be just training for battling other players, but my experience with RTSs and playing other people is very poor. My old man reflexes just aren't fast enough. So we'll leave that there as a I don't know how to describe it, as a yes, good, but perhaps again not for me. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.